God, the more you may go through. The more you pray, the more you act and you endure. The more you praise the Lord, the more haters you have. Why? Because God expects of you that when you mature in me, you can handle more. Here is the reality, ladies and gentlemen. David is a man after God's own heart, and yet David went through. Yes. And so if David is a man after God's own heart, and he went through, and you keep playing with God's heart, Jesus, what makes you think you're not going to go through? He keeps going down, and the latter part of verse 2 is really what encouraged you. He said, lead me to the rock that is higher than I. Now listen now. At a dark place in David's life, he didn't say, I'm through with church. He didn't say, I'll be there next week. He said, Lord, draw me closer to the one who can get me there. And I want to challenge all of you in here who get upset with God and your circumstances and you walk away from him. Let me ask you a question. Where can you go that he cannot find you? Where can you go that he cannot reach you and pull you back up again? And sometimes we get mad at God when we put ourselves in dark places. We did it, and you heard the Lord say, don't do it, you did it anyway. Yeah. I was trained in biblical studies that when they get quiet, I mean you're on their toes. So, because I'm there, let me just stay a little while longer. It's always amazing when church folks, now y'all not church folks, I get it, but when church folks, when your neighbor come to church and they shout and they holler and they dance and lift their hands and they look so dignified. But then they go home, it's a different one of them at the house. Then they go to work, it's different over there. And they look the look and they have the walk. But when you have discernment, you can see that behind the look is the pain. And David goes on in verse 3 and says, for thou hast been a shelter for me and a strong tower from my enemies. And I'm grateful that even when I couldn't see my way out, he sheltered me. Now, I can't relate to the situation of not being able to give birth. You have 4 miscarriages and 1 stillborn. I can't relate to that. I can't relate to that. But I'm encouraged in this regard that even when they gave up trying, God did not. And